Alright, so just when we thought we had everything figured out, boom! More leaks drop, and we're back with another huge update on Anaxa, his Eidolons, and his light cone. And trust me, this guy keeps getting better and better. But that's not all. Cipher, Phainon, and Hyacine are also making waves in the leak community. And there's even talk of a new fire preservation form for Dan Heng. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. So sit back, relax, and let's break it all down. Before you begin, let's talk about the latest Anaxa leaks, because they just keep coming in pieces. Every few hours, new details drop, which means in one video I cover one thing, and in the next, there's even more to talk about. Previously, I went over Anaxa'S kit, but now we have more info on their Eidolons and light cone, and trust me, these updates change a lot. Plus, these leaks also connect to what I mentioned in my earlier videos about other upcoming characters. So, if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out my previous video to see how everything ties together. Let's start with Anaxa'S Eidolons because, as we all know, some characters completely transform with Eidolons, and Anaxa? He's no exception. E1 reduces enemy DEF. Straight up team-wide damage boost. Enemies with lower def equal everyone hits harder. E2 increases speed and the number of hits on his skill. Faster turns, more attacks, more chances to apply debuffs. This one's a solid buff. E4 boosts crit rate for the entire team. This one is huge. If you run a crit-focused team, this Eidolon alone makes Anaxa worth pulling for. E6 massively boosts his own DMG, and the damage increase is an independent multiplier. This isn't just another additive buff, it's a completely separate damage boost, stacking with everything else. This makes E6 Anaxa a monster. Honestly, if you're looking to maximize Anaxa's potential, E2 and E4 are crazy good. But E6? That's the full power fantasy unlocked. If you get him there, let's just say enemies won't be lasting very long. And let's not forget, his ultimate costs 110 energy. So you're gonna want some solid energy regen to keep that ability rolling. Now, let's talk about Anaxa'S light cone, because it's insanely well tailored for his kit. First, it boosts crit damage. Already a massive W, he scales perfectly with it. The start of each wave, it gives him bonus energy. This means his ultimate will be much easier to charge up. And finally, every time he applies a weakness to an enemy, that enemy takes even more damage. And it stacks. So think about this, Anaxa is constantly applying weaknesses to enemies. Every time he does, he's also increasing the damage they take. And since it stacks, yeah, this guy is literally making enemies easier to break and making them take even more damage. It's basically like kicking someone when they're already down, except in this case, you're throwing them into a wind tornado and watching them get shredded. Alright, let's shift gears to some other leaks because we're getting some serious teases about upcoming characters. Cipher. Looks like he's going to be a DPS focused on additional damage, meaning his hits will keep stacking damage over time. Phainon, a physical destruction character who can take multiple actions per turn. Basically, imagine a hyper-aggressive damage dealer. Hyacine, a physical remembrance healer. A healer focused on debuffing enemies? Interesting. Dan Heng's new form? Rumors are swirling about a fire preservation version of Dan Heng. True, this could shake up the tank meta in a big way. Oh, and 3.7? There's apparently going to be a very important character, possibly related to either MEM Trailblazers Memo Sprite or Cyrene. If that's true, yeah, that's gonna be huge. And of course, we gotta talk about Castorice. This character is getting insane hype, and for good reason. Let me summarize what we know so far. She's both single target and AoE. She consumes her entire HP bar, and even her teammates' HP sounds terrifying, but wait for it. Her ultimate triggers when her HP hits a certain threshold. The lower her HP, the higher her damage output. She has a dragon. And apparently, it has an effect similar to Hu Tao's E6. This means she's going to be a high-risk, high-reward character. Imagine playing on the edge of death, only to wipe out enemies with one massive hit. That's peak risk versus reward gameplay, and I love it. Man, I don't know about you guys, but these upcoming characters are stacked with potential. Anaxa is looking like a game changer, Castorice is going to be a wild ride, and Phainon might just redefine destruction characters. And remember, these are leaks, not official info. Things can change, and I don't want y'all hunting me down if Hoyoverse decides to tweak some stuff before release. But if you want to stay on top of all these updates, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because trust me, I'll be covering every major leak and update as soon as they drop. Also, if you haven't seen my previous video, go check it out. I covered Anaxa'S earlier kit leaks, and with all these new details coming in, it's crazy to see how much has evolved. That's it for now, catch you in the next one.